The iPhone 7 entered the world with a bang, thanks to headphone controversy and a price hike seemingly in the wake of Brexit. But at first glance you'll wonder what's changed. It looks pretty much the same as an iPhone 6. I loved that design, but then I loved the design of the iPhone 4, that doesn't mean I want a phone that looks like that in 2016. Still, the 6 design was good, but would any other company get away with a 2-year-old look for its flagship phone? Get past this and the iPhone 7 delivers a unique experience among iPhones, which is both a good and bad thing. The new features, water resistance, an incredible quad-core processor and, crucially, a 32GB starting storage capacity, are all very welcome. So is the excellent camera that's had the right upgrades to make photos look better. But like the eponymous Batman villain, the iPhone 7 has 2 faces. The removal of the headphone jack feels unnecessary and restrictive. The handset costs more than the 6S did when it was released last year, in the UK at least, and the iPhone 7's battery life is a real problem. If you want a small Apple phone, you'd be better off opting for the iPhone SE. Alternatively, check out our iPhone 7 Plus review. Yes, that phone is even more expensive, but it lasts a lot longer and has an even better camera that offers proper zoom. There's is one other option to consider too if you're hooked on Apple. The iPhone 6s Plus remains a great phone, has strong battery life and costs exactly the same as the iPhone 7. There's not much to talk about when it comes to the aesthetics of the iPhone 7. If you've used an iPhone 6 or 6s, you'll feel like you've returned home after a long holiday and the window curtains have been changed. For standing out from the iPhone crowd, the new jet black finish is really your only option. A jet black iPhone 7 looks like no other handset. It's not like the plastic iPhone 5C, this is a phone made out of metal, but which is smooth to touch without being slippery. Yes, it attracts fingerprints, but who cares when it looks this good? One note of caution, though. It does mark up a little easily, so you'll need to treat it with care if you want it to keep looking good. The second new color on offer is simply called black. This replaces the space gray of previous models and makes the iPhone 7 looks like a mean machine. The other versions available are silver, gold, and rose gold. The iPhone 7's size and shape is almost identical to the previous models, however the antenna bands that formerly ran across the back now tastefully curve around the ends, and the camera knob is more rounded. These changes are small, but welcome, although it does mean you won't be able to use an old 6 or 6s case. The iPhone 7 retains those chunky top and bottom areas of its bezel, and this means it offers less screen space for its size than the HTC 10, LG G5 or Samsung Galaxy S7. The latter has very similar dimensions but comes with a 5.1-inch screen, compared to the 4.7-incher on the iPhone 7. It feels like some other brands have overtaken Apple when it comes to phone design. That's all there is to discuss about the aesthetics. However, there's plenty to talk about when it comes to design. Apple's made some fundamental changes to the iPhone 7 that will affect the way you use your phone for better and worse. Let's start with the missing headphone socket. For some people this is going to be a big issue, but it hasn't been a problem for me. There are a number of potential reasons why Apple's decided to remove the 3.5mm socket from the iPhone 7, but the company won't outright tell us why. Space seems to be the primary factor when you look at the internal design. The new haptic engine is a lot chunkier and takes up some of the space, as does the louder speaker that's been crammed into the bottom. Apple has clearly decided improved features on the iPhone 7 are better than keeping a 50-year-old connection, particularly since wireless headphones have become increasingly popular over the past few years. In fact, Apple has launched its own wireless headphones, called AirPods. Shame you're going to need courage to wear AirPods outside. That's all well and good, but for many who own a great pair of wired headphones this will prove a problem. Apple has resolved it to a great extent by providing a pair of Lightning earpods and a small adapter in the box with the iPhone 7. The adapter lets you plug wired headphones into the charging port. It works well, but you won't be able to charge your phone and listen at the same time, plus it's small and easy to misplace. There are some neat third-party Bluetooth aptX headphone adapters available, such as the £69 Noble Audio BTS, but be prepared for an inevitable drop in audio quality when used with high-end headphones. I haven't been too affected by the lack of jack. Having bought into the convenience of wireless headphones a few years ago, I now favor them over my better-sounding wired pairs. It's a transition I expect many of us will make over the coming years. The other design change I got to grips with quickly is the new home button, if you can still call it that. Gone is the iconic click, it now has capacitive touch sensitivity. That means it works using the tiny bits of electricity in your fingers, just like the screen does, so if you're wearing normal gloves it won't function. Incredibly, I could have sworn that the button had some give to it until I turned the phone off and realized that I'd been duped. That's how good the new haptic engine is. The feedback it offers tricks your brain into thinking the button can actually be pressed. This isn't just smoke and mirrors, it feels real. I thought I'd miss the old iconic iPhone home button, but I don't. That haptic engine is used for more than just the home button, though. The iPhone 7 now feels like it talks to you by vibrating at key moments. Whether you're scrolling through the timer or getting a call, the refined buzzes tell you a lot more than the iPhone 6s ever did. One of the reasons the home button has been changed is because of the iPhone 7's headline feature, water resistance. Apple may not be the first to create a water-resistant phone, but it's a brilliant feature to have nonetheless. That's because one of the main reasons people ruin their phone is through water damage. I've broken a phone or two by dropping it in the wet stuff in the past. The iPhone 7 is hardy enough now to withstand a moderate dunk in up to 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes. The iPhone 7 manages an IP67 rating for water and dust resistance, which is a little less than the certification achieved by the Galaxy S7 and Sony's Xperia Z5. Don't let that bother you, though. The difference is small, and I've used the iPhone 7 in the shower and left it in water for 30 minutes and it still works just fine. Water resistance is an added level of insurance for flagships that cost a lot to replace. It certainly came to my rescue when I dropped the iPhone 7 in a puddle while camping on a wet weekend. The iPhone 7's screen is the same 4.7 inches in size as the one on the iPhone 6s, and doesn't pack any more pixels. So it has a resolution of 1334 by 750 and a pixel density of 326 pi, what Apple calls Retina. Essentially what this means is that the iPhone 7 is plenty sharp, you can't spot any blocky pixels unless you plonk it in a VR headset, just a couple of inches from your face. I'm fine with the current resolution, especially since everything else Apple has done to the screen makes it a real winner. The iPhone 7's display is richer than ever before, without looking at all fake. Apple now uses the wider DCI-P3 color gamut that the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, iMac and Hollywood filmmakers use, and that's a very good thing. It means more colors, so everything looks more realistic and nuanced. It's perfect for a Netflix binge. Skin tones still look natural, but more lifelike than before, and dark scenes look very good for an IPS LCD screen. Colors are punchier without losing the refinement I've always liked about iPhone screens. It's brighter and less reflective, too. That makes it a lot easier to look at in bright sunlight. This is the best IPS screen you can get on a phone, but it still lags behind Samsung's AMOLED screens when it comes to deep blacks. I can't quite decide which I prefer, both are excellent. There's one area of the display that I'm not quite as impressed with, and that's with white areas. Whites have a pink tinge, and I actually prefer the old screen on the iPhone 6s when reading an ebook or websites that have a white background. Sound is one area that Samsung hasn't really cracked with its Galaxy S range. HTC does a much better job thanks to the stereo boom sound speakers on the HTC 10, and the iPhone 7 emulates these to some degree. It's not quite as successful, though. Let's start with the good bits. The iPhone 7 is loud, very loud. In fact, it has double the top volume of the iPhone 6s, and that's a good thing if you've left your Bluetooth speaker at home. You can happily use the iPhone 7 to listen to a few tunes around the campsite without it being drowned out by the lightest breeze or a crackling fire. There are 2 speakers now, one at the bottom and one pumping straight out of the earphone slot. This means you get a little stereo separation, but they're still too close to make it that noticeable. More importantly, the fact that there's more than one speaker means it sounds a lot fuller. Apple has done a great job cramming decent speakers into the iPhone 7, but it's not performed miracles. Speaker drivers need space around them and the iPhone 7 is just too small and slim to sound amazing. There's still a distinct lack of low-end thrills. If you like your bassy music on the go, then you'll want to invest in some good headphones or a top-quality portable speaker. At its highest volume, the iPhone 7 sounds a bit harsh and tizzy too, while movie dialogue has a whiny edge to it. Notching the volume down a few levels helps cure this. I am being overly picky here, though. The iPhone 7's speakers are some of the best on any phone. There's a whole lot more depth and detail than you got from its predecessors, and the move away from dull mono sound is a welcome one.